What's up, everybody? This is Neil Kongstrong again, and I'm here with some technical analysis for you based on some of the requests in the Scholars Discord channel. So we're going to start with Ethereum. I'm going to try to go a little faster today because I've been very lengthy in my other videos, and I want to kind of keep it shorter if I can. Okay, so yeah, Ethereum. We had this wick down that touched the trend line on the daily, and then we got, a nice bullish bounce, set a higher high. So bulls still very much in control. This is really nice. So, we're continuing the uptrend, setting the higher high. We set the higher low down here around 43.23 or so. And if we look at the weekly, you can see that now we have just, the first time we tried to kind of break all-time highs, the bulls weren't quite able to break it. They got this 40-30 level here, and then they weren't able to get above that. But they were able to set a weekly higher low, and now we have two candles that on the weekly time frame that have closed above all-time highs. So that's really good. Bulls are strong. There's, you can see that compared to some of these earlier moves, this is a much shallower uptrend, but the fact is we are continuing to, set higher highs here. We are breaking all-time highs. So that's all very good for the bulls and gives me really no reason to doubt them right now. We would have to see, the break of the daily uptrend line. We would have to see the break of this 43.30 support. And, that is when we would start looking for a potential reversal on the daily. So my friend Super Sente asked for this ETH BTC chart. If we look at the weekly, you can tell that this is more or less, sideways trading. I mean, there is a bit of a trend to it. We had this high of 0.082, and then higher low, lower high, lower low, lower high, higher low. So it's like, it's basically sideways trading, and there's been like little mini trends within that, from this 0.054 level, we got a higher high, higher low, higher high, or no, sorry, I guess this is just a lower high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, and now we are going back down. But really, when you kind of zoom out, it feels like this is basically sideways trading, as you can see here. This is a more clear example of why I'm viewing this as sideways trading on the monthly. So yeah, we had this really big move. We're basically going sideways now, and we'll have to see what happens when the range gets tighter, and we should eventually see a break in one direction or the other. Recently bulls have been stronger, so that gives me some reason to believe that maybe the break will be bullish, but it's really hard to know until we get that tighter range. And yeah, if we look at the daily, you can see that we had a downtrend going, and then we reversed here at this 0.059 level, and we're able to break that previous high and rejected once from the 0.071 level and then broke it. So right now we're on course to set a higher low and then continue the uptrend. But this could reverse into a downtrend, and if it does, it doesn't necessarily mean that things are super bearish. It might just be a continuation of this weekly sideways action. So I was going to just show QQQ because I'm going to do some stock tickers that were requested. But yeah, I mean, obviously QQQ has been just incredibly strong recently, and as evidenced by just riding this upper Bollinger Band on the daily. You can also see that, we got some downside in September and in early October. But since then, we have gotten this nice 20 and 50 day moving average cross here. So it crossed bearish here, and then it crossed bullish. You can also see some other interesting things. So we dip down below the Bollinger Band, bounce, dip down and kind of ride the Bollinger Band and bounce. And then when we come back down, we bounce off of this 100-day moving average. and it's been off to the races since then. Also worth noticing, these are the traditional pivot points that I talked about a little bit in my last video, but we're getting some selling here at this R1 level, which I've found these levels to work pretty well. So I don't think that's totally an accident. But yeah, I mean, right now, RSI is getting pretty high here at, let's see, what is that? That is almost 80. And if we look back, we don't get that high super often. But, right now we really have no reason to think that things are going to be bearish because the bulls have just been on a run, and I'm not going to, just assume that things are going to pull back purely because they've been on a run. The QQQ has shown that it can run very high and for a long time before getting consolidation. So, yeah, basically we've got the bulls going to the moon right now on QQQ. So let's look at OMI. This was a requested ticker, Owens and Minor Incorporated. I don't know anything about this ticker, and I'm really, really curious. Oh, this is, yeah, earnings. Okay, that makes sense. So we let's see, let's zoom out a little bit. Since I don't know much about this ticker, I want to get some perspective. Yeah, so it looks like, we had a longer term weekly downtrend that went from July of 20, or around July 2016 or so, all the way to July 2019. And then we got this gigantic bounce. I'm not sure if that was on the back of news or what. But yeah, we've clearly recovered from these lows of around 243. And the bulls have been pretty much in control here for the last, I don't know, what is that, 2-ish years or so, 2.5 years, something like that. So most recently, this is the most noticeable thing to me, is that we have what looks like kind of a double top here. We haven't had a lot of really notable pullbacks on this name on the weekly time frame. Then we got this little double top, and now we have, pulled back to this 2985 level, and now bouncing again. So time will tell if this ends up being a true reversal or not. We got the high of 4916, then we weren't quite able to break it with this 4873 level, but I think of that as basically a double top. Then we got a lower low here, lower high, lower low, which, this is a previous support here. And then we broke this previous high here, and, we'll see what plays out here. There's still, basically half a week left on this candle. And, it's going to be important to see whether the bulls are going to be able to break this double top or not. If we pull back, then, that will most likely either be some sideways action or continuing a downtrend that started with this double top. If we look on the daily, we can see that there was a really bullish reaction to earnings with this gigantic gap up. So that's obviously very bullish. I'm guessing that, we'll have to see. Sometimes when you get these giant gap ups, you will also fill the gap at some point, aka you will pull back and cover that gap. But obviously that reaction was very bullish, and we're gonna have to see basically when where bulls can kind of set the higher low, or if they can set the higher low. And if they do, the next test will be these previous highs, and breaking those would be very bullish. Rejecting there could lead to more sideways action. But yeah, so we'll have to see what happens. It's a little bit unclear. I would say that clearly the momentum has petered out a little bit after the many weeks of bull run, but obviously this earnings reaction was very bullish, and whether this small pullback turns into a bull flag and we break those previous levels or not remains to be seen. for me, the really big test is whether or not we can, pull back a little bit and set like a higher low sooner, and then go test that level, or whether we dump back and fill the gap. So we'll have to see. SAVA has also this gigantic reaction. I'm not really sure what this reaction is because earnings was November 4th. Oh, okay. So yeah, I guess this is probably an earnings reaction to, or a reaction to earnings, this big gap up here. If we zoom out on the weekly, let's see. Okay. So, yeah, I was kind of curious if this and OMI were in like a similar sector or something, because the charts look kind of similar. But yeah, it looks like we've had we had a really big move here, and the uptrend was kept alive. But now we're starting to see some pullback, with being unable to hold the 64.95 level and dumping a little bit lower. We have not broken the 31.44 level. So if bulls can't go on to either break or at least test the 146.16 level, then we will see if bulls can hold the 39.01 level, and if they can't hold that, then we'll see if they can hold the 31.44 level. This could end up being sideways trading. I would not be surprised to see that, given that the bulls ran really hard, and the bulls are still strong, but obviously we're seeing some slowing of momentum. So those are the tests that I would be looking for. This is a pretty volatile name. Like, these moves are really, really crazy. This is, yeah, 670 up to 117.54. I would be very curious to know like more about this ticker, because I'm getting the feeling that there's something a bit more going on with this name that's leading to these really volatile moves. Something notable also here is that you can see that on the weekly, we bounced off this 20-week moving average a few different times, and we've just now broken it here with this big red candle, and dipped below the 50-week, bounced, dipped below, bounced again. So we also should be probably watching like the 20-day and 50-day moving averages as well. Let's see, what else do we have? PLBY. I don't know what this is. Let's see here. So, how do I want to draw this? I'm looking for a good way to draw the trend line. And there are multiple trend lines, but usually there's one that fits better than the others. Well, maybe it's not worth trying to draw one here. So basically, we can see on the daily with this name that, we got a very, very strong bull run starting around March of this year. And bulls ran all the way from 11.02 up to 63.04 all-time high. Got some sideways trading, and then we got a downtrend. So this is like, some consolidation after this really, really long bull run. And then as we bottomed out at 20.08, we got more sideways trading. So this is looking likely to be like sort of a reversal, where we saw that we had this big bull move and then traded sideways, then had this bear move, and now we're trading sideways. And since then, we've broken out of that range that we were trading in here. You can see with these two lines, like kind of the tightening range happening. So we broke out of that, and now we've set a higher low at 25.21. We set higher high at 30.25, higher low at 25.21, and now we look poised to set another higher high around here at 32.56. So this seems like a name that is gaining some bullish momentum, and maybe reversing after this downtrend that was going on from May to about August, after all-time highs. So this name seems pretty bullish. I would potentially be, like, if I were trading this, swing trading it or something, I might basically, if we got a pullback and then got some buying. I might buy on, maybe the first green daily candle close, and then, look to exit on the next higher high. Next, we've got Atom USD. So yeah, this is a name where, let's see, not sure where to draw the line on this one. We got a lot of, like, a really big bull move over these couple of months here from July to September. Then we got some sideways trading, and let's see, what's interesting with this name is that we had this kind of like tightening range, and then we broke out of it, but even though we got this big bull move, we got a bunch of selling right after that, and we're now just kind of continuing to trade sideways. So it's hard to say exactly what's going to happen with this name. I think that what to look for is, first is probably just a test of recent lows, like this support here at 28.97, and also this one at about $30. And then the other one is we want to see if bulls retest the 44.80 level, and if they break that level, then that would obviously be a pretty bullish sign, and would probably be something like a monthly bull flag. In general, this name has been very bullish though recently, and the pullbacks have been big, but the bull runs have also been big. And right now we're kind of waiting to see what shakes out with this sideways action here. So the big red flag, I think, would be breaking this 28.97 level. And, then after that, we're going to be looking at supports down in this range around, like, right around $10, 10.06. And, if we do break down below that, then we'll likely be potentially looking at some kind of reversal. But for right now, I would say bulls are in control. Oops, did not mean to do that. Oh God. Okay, this line has just gone out of control. But for right now, I would say bulls are in control. Bulls are looking strong, and we are just going to have to watch what happens as this range tightens. TEL coin. This is like a very volatile looking chart, and yeah, this is another one that for the most part, if I zoom out, it looks like it is trading sideways. And this is, I'm seeing this pattern in just all kinds of altcoins right now, where we just got a lot of bullish action. Sometimes it's between like June and, like October, or in this case, it's December of 2020 up until May. And I'm not exactly sure what that's about. I think that I probably need to pay more attention to kind of like the macro trends of the whole space. But, this is pretty clearly like sideways action right now. I mean, you can see this range tightening. You can see the range getting much smaller that we're actually trading in. And, there is this big wick here, but this may have been something of a fake out because, it got sold into, and more or less it kind of seems like we're still not quite broken out of this range. This particular name looks kind of ready to break out of its range because it's getting so tight. So we'll have to see which direction it breaks out. And if we get a breakout to the upside, this, 0.064 test will be important. If we get a break to the downside, then we'll have to look at tests of this 0.009 and this 0.0044 level to kind of see, whether or not the bulls are going to step in. RUNE. So let's see. Let's go to the weekly. Yeah, so here we had, just pretty much straight up bull action with, just legs up, pullbacks, and then further legs up. And then we got this pullback, which if we look at the monthly, this is still a higher low on the monthly. But we're seeing that right now, at least, the bulls are having some trouble just convincingly breaking this previous 2214 level. So it will be interesting to see if bulls can break this level. If they can't break this level, then then we're going to be looking at either sideways trading or some kind of reversal and a downtrend on the monthly time frame. And if we look at the weekly time frame, again, it kind of, we got this larger pullback and then set this lower high, but then we set a higher low, higher high. So, we are still in an uptrend in the weekly after this big pullback. But it does seem like the momentum of just how steep this uptrend is changed a lot. I mean, one way to tell is you can see that here, the price is basically bouncing off what is that? That is the 12 period EMA. And then if we look at this one, it's dipping down and touching the 50 period EMA. So obviously a lot weaker of an uptrend now. So I'm seeing some signs of weakness here. I mean, no big red flags yet because, we would need to see a lot more bear action to be convinced that this is actually a full reversal and not just some sideways trading. So time will tell there, and it's probably most clearly illustrated on the monthly. You can see just how insanely bullish this name has been with just this nonstop bull run. And now we're getting what looks like maybe finally some consolidation and sideways trading, but we'll have to see how the bulls and bears handle these next couple months to see how it plays out. All we know for now is that the bulls have been insanely strong and they are finally showing some signs of weakness. But, overall they are still in control. Then we have Metis Tether. I hope this is the right chart because this is a very new name, it seems. And I think this is the Bittrex one. I just kind of pick whichever one seems like it's going to be the most likely to have like a decent amount of volume. So this chart is, there's not a whole lot of action to base my opinions off of. Really this kind of just looks like weekly sideways trading to me because, there's a lot of wicks, but for the most part, if we look at kind of the supports and resistances that seem to matter the most, we got some really giant wicks and just a lot of volatility right out the gate. Then we got this, longer bear move, bounced here, retested that low and bounced. And then we basically retested the previous high and rejected. And now we are going back down to these previous lows. So we're pretty much in a sideways range right now. And the range has not really tightened that much. So let's go back to the weekly. So right now we are just kind of waiting for the price to either tighten in terms of the range of the price, or we want to see like a clear break of one of these established supports or resistances. And I'm not talking about this weekly wick. I mean, closing a weekly candle or closing a daily candle well above or below one of these levels. Until then, we're kind of just waiting to see what plays out. If you were going for shorter term trades, you could always try, buying near this support. And if we broke the support, you could sell and exit your position. And otherwise, you'd be looking to take profit somewhere near this top end of the range. So that could be a good strategy if you're looking to trade this name. If you're more of a breakout trader, then you're probably gonna have to, wait a little bit to see things tighten up more for some clarity on, how to play this name with like a momentum strategy. This is Veracity Tether. So this line jumps out at me. Let's see what else. This name is looking pretty bullish on the daily. That's a very strong bull move that we got here. We're still in an uptrend. It looks like there's buying coming in here to set potentially a higher low. And when we are in an uptrend and we get a higher low, that can either continue the uptrend with a higher high, or we could get a lower high and get the sideways trading. So here, bulls are in control, and the next test to look for, this trend line is a bit far away from the price. So the first thing that we would probably be watching for is like a break of this 0.051 level. If we were if we went down, and actually, I guess now that I think about it, if we came down, we would hit this trend line before we hit 0.051 most likely. So yeah, first thing to watch for would be like a test of that trend line, and then after that, a test of this level. But bulls are strong so far, and some entering on a touch of the trend line could be a good entry for like a swing trade or something like that. If we look at the weekly, then we got this insane move from surprise, like December to like almost May. So once again, we're seeing this like super bullish period for like altcoins, and then a pullback, and now we're going higher, and we did break all-time highs on this one. This one's like in some ways looking kind of like Ethereum, but once again, just like Ethereum, this is just a really bullish name, and we're going to have to see the bears are going to have to prove it before I'm going to want to entertain like the bear scenario. So right now, seems like bulls are in control. I expect them to, maybe pull back and bounce off of this uptrend line. And if we break that uptrend line, I will be watching for signs of a reversal. MESA. Oh, this is also a stock name. This is like a NASDAQ ticker. So, interesting. So this one, we have, this long bull or this long bear period where it kind of bottomed out at 714, and now we're seeing that bears are really having trouble with this, around 714, 730 support, and we got a lot of sideways trading as we bottomed out here, and then we just recently broke out of this range to set a higher high. So that's very bullish. I mean, I think this is the kind of name where I would be, potentially interested in an entry, because you can see just so clearly that we have this bull move that, slowly peters out. It goes sideways, and then we've now gotten a pretty clear break out of that. And this is the kind of thing that could turn into, something like a weekly cup and handle, depending on how this next bull move goes. But I'm definitely liking this as like an entry for a swing trade, because of the fact that we have this pretty clear breakout of the range after just bouncing around this 714 to 830 range for since August. So that's definitely a notable move. We've got earnings coming up in December. But yeah, I think that I'm expecting the bulls to get continuation and to go into a daily uptrend. It's always possible that we either keep going sideways, or that this is kind of a fake out and we go back down into this range. But seems most likely that this breakout is legitimate, and that we will get continuation of this uptrend. KDA. Let's see here. So this is looking very like blow off toppy to me, I must say. But then again, some of these other names that we looked at in the crypto space have been extremely strong. This was a really strong one, for example. But I got to say that this one actually looks more like a blow off top than those, because there's just barely any pullback at all. And you can actually see almost like sort of a double toppy kind of thing on the RSI. So I don't know. In the case of this name, I would feel extremely uncomfortable with any kind of bull entry here, especially with RSI as high as it is. This is just like a really incredibly strong bull move. Now that doesn't mean that I'm not like bullish on the name overall. I mean, especially if we got like a moderate pullback, then I might be looking for entries there. I think what I expect is a pullback on the weekly and then maybe sideways trading, which is what we've seen in a lot of these other names. But yeah, I would not be feeling super comfortable with the bull entry here just because of how strong this run has been. However, once I felt like we had gotten like some reasonable consolidation and we're seeing signs that the bulls were buying again after cooling off, I would be interested in entering. And, if I had gotten in earlier, I'd be looking at exiting here if I were in a short-term trade. If you're buying it for the long term and you believe in the project, then of course you can just hold on to it. It all depends on your strategy. SHKOOBY Inu. So this is, I'm not entirely sure if I got the right, ticker here. There's just not a whole lot of data here. This is such a new ticker. And there's also just not a whole lot to say about it. I mean, we got a gigantic candle here. I have no idea like what kind of volume we're really looking at here. Let's see what this says on the volume side. Okay, I'm not actually sure. I'm assuming that this is like is this US dollar volume or is this SHKOOBY volume? I guess I haven't actually thought about that when it comes to these like altcoins. I should probably know that, but yeah, we got a really, really big candle. And then now we're seeing just some sideways trading. We got all these kind of inside candles, and then, we haven't really broken out of the range, and it's really hard to like comment on this coin without knowing more about it. It has the look of like a DEX kind of shit coin, for lack of a better term, where, at times people pile in and buy a bunch of it, and then other times people dump. It's really hard to know what is going to happen with it, just given how little price history there is. But, I would say that these like levels are the ones you're going to want to watch, if we get a break out of that level. And especially if we get a break above this previous high, then, we could see a lot more upside, especially since it seems like people are really piled in when this coin first came on the scene. And if we break this one, it might, it might just dump down to oblivion and make up and kind of erase all the ground made on this candle. I don't really know. I wish I had better analysis on this one, but it's just so little price history. And I'm guessing based on the chart that this is like, kind of a meme coin or something. So it's really hard to know on those. I feel like to a certain degree, it's kind of a crapshoot in terms of whether it's going to continue higher with this basically being like a weekly bull flag, or whether, or even daily bull flag, or whether we're just going to, dump back down, because yeah, there's not really, all that's really been established is like this small range of prices that we've been bouncing around in. And other than that, there's just the one giant candle. So all I can really say is to watch the established levels that have touches, like this high up here, this level here, and these two levels here. And other than that, I have no idea what this SHKOOBY thing even is. I don't know how I switched charts. But that was actually my last chart. Hopefully this was helpful. I tried to do it a little bit faster, so hopefully I didn't kind of skimp on the details, but if you're watching this and you have some input for me, I am of course open to hearing it and would love to do a better job on just delivering good content to people. So yeah, drop me a line in the comments or in the Scholars Discord and let me know what you think. I hope you're all doing well, and I will see you next time. Farewell.